once you see something in the data that says there's something concerning here and I want to look into it, cool, look into it and listen to some calls, some recorded calls, and it's shocking.
Yeah, there's your answer.
Yes.
Welcome to Tip the Scales podcast. I'm Jenn Gore, and I'm taking over this episode. I'm here with John Nachazel, the COO of the Mike Morse law firm, and we had an amazing conversation as always. We talked about what it takes to be a great COO. We talked about Fireproof. We talked about his insights into what it takes to build and lead a team, and just a lot of great, amazing topics. So stay tuned for this one. I think you'll love it. John Nachazel.
Jenn Gore.
Welcome to Tip the Scales podcast. Thanks for coming on.
It's truly my pleasure. Always fun to spend time with you.
Oh, so for anyone living under a rock that may not know who you are, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm John Nachazel. I'm the COO of the Mike Morse law firm for the past 17 years. And I'm also the co-author of Fireproof that I co-wrote with Mike Morse. We have a coaching program and we have a mastermind program with Fireproof. We have over 100 law firms that we work with now. So that's what I've been up to the past 17 years.
So Fireproof really came, the book, during the pandemic.
We couldn't have timed it better. In fact, that's when we finished it. Was Michael called me as the pandemic started in March of 2020 and said, "You're never going to have a better chance to finish. So do it right now. You can't go anywhere." So we cranked it out and we launched it in June of 2020 at precisely a time when lawyers couldn't go to court. And so they were being introspective and focused on self-improvement and really trying to improve their business. So there was nothing strategic about the timing of the launch. It was pure luck, but it was just, it filled a void that was clearly there and had a response that we never expected.
So this is where the stars aligned and our paths crossed.
That was a wonderful day.
Around this exact time, I had been in a coaching program for lawyers, but it was general. So it was personal injury, immigration, family law. And I was very kind of frustrated. And I had this vision that I'm going to be coached by somebody who's 10 times larger than me, but they're in my practice area. And that was like my wish to the universe, right?
And then we showed up.
And I was on a webinar. And I was just listening and Mike came on and he talked about this book and I knew nothing about you guys. I never heard of, the firm because I'm in Atlanta. You guys are up in Detroit. And I immediately heard him talking about the concepts in the book. And I said, I'm going to work with you guys, like immediately. Mm-hmm. And within an hour, I was on the phone with Mike. I think I was messaging him, "You're my new coach." And I got his cell phone. He was gracious enough to get on the phone with me. And at the time, I was very familiar with coaching because I'd been in coaching programs. And I think you had one person that you were mentoring, coaching, but like that wasn't the original premise of the book.
No, it wasn't.
And I said, "You guys need to coach me." Mm-hmm. And you're like, "Okay." And I remember like it was like a scrap of paper, like, "Here's our coaching agreement."
Yeah.
Like, we don't.
Yeah, on the first one, we didn't even have that. I was just retelling the story earlier today, and Michael came to me and said, "You're now coaching X person for X thousand a month." And I said, "Great, what am I coaching them on?" And he's like, "You'll figure it out." So that was fun. It was not a deliberate attempt, but we responded to the need, and my gosh, was it fun.
Well,
it has been still.
It's so funny to me because I feel like I'm like an early adopter in these types of things. Like I see something and I'm like, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
I don't know what it fully is, but I'm very much about results and you guys have results.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I've been being coached by other people that don't have these results. Even if this program is in its infancy, it's got to be better than what I've been doing.
Right.
And so I feel like people sometimes get in their own way because they're like, well, is the program 100% complete or whatever? And it's like, just go with it. You're going to learn something.
Right. So, and part of it for me was not exactly equating it, but in college, I always tried to take courses taught by great teachers. I didn't really care about the subject so much. It was if I spent time learning from a great teacher, that was always a great class. If it was a subject that was right on the mark, but the teacher was a dud, it was a waste.
100%.
yeah.
Great perspective. So we go start coaching with you guys. You have this event in Phoenix.
Mhm.
There's like a mastermind. It was kind of like a summit mastermind.
Mhm.
And there was some great firms in there.
Yeah.
And it was a great event. But yet you guys, I remember, we were just talking about this before we went on.
Mhm.
You guys really hadn't been too deep involved with other firms or knowing what other people were doing.
Well, truly, before June of 2020, some people around the nation knew Michael. No one around the nation knew my name. Nobody in Michigan knew my name. My friends didn't know my name. We weren't going to conferences. We weren't in any masterminds. We weren't in any coaching.
Which is pretty incredible that you guys got to where you were with kind of just in isolation.
I agree. I do. I agree. Some of it was freeing, like the conversations we've had in the past about the comp plan. I didn't know that it was a law that every PI law firm has to pay a percentage of revenue. I just didn't know. So when Michael told me to come up with a formula for handling compensation, I was free of those limitations.
You had none of those industry beliefs.
Right. So I wasn't inhibited and weighed down by it. And instead, I could just do what I thought logically made sense with a blank sheet of paper. Now, overall, is coaching a far better way? Oh my God, yes. But there were some advantages of just going it alone for a while and making our own mistakes.
And let's not forget that even though you weren't in the personal injury conference circuit and you weren't in masterminds, you were being coached by Gino Wickman, the founder of EOS.
Still 18 years in, and we're still getting coached by Gino every quarterly. He's a good friend at this point, a dear friend, I'd even say. And love him, so grateful for him. And he helps us. He helps us hold each other accountable. We can talk ourselves into why things are okay, and he'll call us out. And I think that's really helpful to have an outside voice. So could I facilitate the meetings? Of course. Could Jen? Of course. Could, Perry, whoever. We have lots of people, Justin, that are capable of facilitating the meeting. That's not what it's about. It's allowing me to participate in the meeting rather than facilitate it and worry about, are we on schedule and what's coming up next? And instead being free to actively participate and be held accountable by Gino.
And I think because I was there in the early beginning, I got some benefits that maybe other people you no longer sell.
That is a fact.
So I had like constant coaching from Jen Harvilla and you, and basically, I mean, I feel like I was like I was part of the beta test group, right?
Yes.
But I got to have you guys running my weekly meetings.
Yes.
Which was like insanely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys created, the Fireproof version of EOS,
Yes.
which is basically EOS for personal injury lawyers.
Yes. I, of course, would have to object, Your Honor, and say it's so much more.
Yeah, it's more. But I'm saying
Yes.
if you were to try to explain the genesis of Fireproof.
A lot of those same principles that EOS taught us, we were able to adapt that. And EOS, super grateful for it. I just confessed my love for Gino, so I'll never take that back. But it's 5 days a year of meetings, whereas it's us, we're in there every week, and we're not just facilitating the discussion, we are saying, and here's an option. And
because you guys are subject matter experts,
exactly.
Where Gino and EOS, the facilitator is not really there to give guidance on the topic.
Correct.
So I agree with you that Fireproof, the version is more helpful than a traditional EOS.
Yeah.
I talk about baby deer legs EOS.
Oh.
When I say that, what does that mean to you?
Baby deer legs EOS, probably at the beginning when you're just coming out of just reacting and having chaos reign supreme and reacting to whatever presents itself in front of you, to choosing a different way and having, here's a vision of something I'm headed to, and then reverse engineering, what do I have to do in order to make that a reality? What do I have to do this year? What do I have to do this 90 days? What do I have to do this week? And then a system to make sure it happens. I would say it's, this feels funny. I'm used to just solving a problem, but never actually, or coming up with a solution, but never actually putting it into place. And then I like to revisit it every 6 months or so, and instead of solving it in a way that makes it go away forever.
Yeah, I think in the beginning we were so undisciplined.
Yeah.
Our meetings were all over the place. We couldn't solve an issue quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We would go around the merry-go-round and around and around.
Well, yes, and we're friends, so I'll share. One of my favorite memories was you had a quarterly, and you're like, you have been so proud of us. We were great. We were great today, and we solved it and worked well together. And
as opposed to my other quarterly that you were subject to. You went through probably like the worst meeting of your life.
No.
And what I think is so funny about this whole story is, I said this off camera, but I'll say it again.
Sure.
I had been in business coaching for years. You guys had been in business coaching for years. Right. But when you started coaching, I think there was a sense of like, why the hell are people doing all these crazy different things?
Yes.
Like you guys would be like, you just do this. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? And like, I think sometimes you would be stunned at like the things that people were doing. It
was shocking. And when you'd ask why, and there's just a blank stare of, what do you mean? I don't even know. And I had actually done some coaching. I had done about 8 different companies I'd worked with, but they weren't law firms. So before we wrote the book, so I had some practice going through it. But yeah, it was, well, I'll share this. I don't know if I've ever told you this one. It's my daughter's review of it. My daughter, Anna, she read the book and she goes, TBH was a lot of common sense. Incentives work, hot take. And I just loved that because it brought me back down to earth of, it's common sense, but it's the doing of it. It's the execution. And
ideas are a dime a dozen.
Exactly.
Everybody's got ideas. At the end of the day, business, running a law firm is execution.
Exactly. And that's why Gino's book is called Traction. It's not called Vision. It's the actual doing of it. And that's why, one of the things that Michael was surprised by, it's been a real blessing for us, is he is surprised at how little I weigh in and care about what is the direction of the firm.
You've always said that.
Yeah.
I don't care. Give me where we're going.
Exactly. And then I want to out-execute anybody else in accomplishing that. And we have downscaled and we plateaued for revenue and took employees from 155 down to 118. And we were settled in, making a great profit, and everything was wonderful. And they said, "Oh, let's double." I'm like, okay. So I don't obsess over what the plan is, because I do believe in a mediocre plan with perfect execution nearly always beats a mediocre, or a perfect plan with mediocre execution.
Absolutely.
So I think it's the execution. So I have the coolest job in the world because I don't have to come up with the plan. I just have to do it.
Visionaries need someone like you.
They do.
You are the quintessential personal injury COO. Do you realize you're the poster child of COOs in our space?
I've been accused of being that, and I won't try to be falsely humble. I'm actually even more amazing once you get to know me.
Yes, but I think that you set a template for the type of person that people need to hire as a visionary.
Yeah.
Which is an executor, an operationally driven person.
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't need to be in the front of the stage. They don't need to be.
Don't want to be.
They don't
want to be on podcasts, but they do it because they like their friends.
Yeah. And I think also spreading you love to deliver value and to spread the good word of why COOs are important.
Yes.
And I think a lot of COOs probably around the country look up to you and probably put you on a pedestal and think, I'll be like John one day.
Right.
So how do you handle that burden and responsibility?
Oh, the burden is heavy. So no. My family keeps me humble, very much.
You're a very humble person.
I am, and
I'm kind of messing with you.
Oh, I know you are. I know you are. But I would say this, you didn't ask the question, but I see you and I'm reminded of something that I now try to say about COOs is when you asked me about what traits a COO needs, one of the things I said was versatility. And
You did.
yeah. And you were like, well, but you're the numbers person. I'm like, and I helped write a pretty darn good book. I just.
You know what? We should talk about this because this is a conversation we've had over the years. And I would say, John, you've seen a lot of COOs.
Yeah.
Tell me, what is the top 5 traits? Versatility. What else? Humility.
That's the military says that's the number one trait in any leader is genuine humility. And so I think it's versatility. I think it's someone that wants to teach and they want to work with people. And it's not somebody with an ego that needs to remind people of their authority. One of the things that I always do is whenever one of my direct reports introduces me to their family or a friend or something and say, this is my boss, I just, no, we work with each other. You don't work for me, we work with each other. And so one of the things that I've done is I am comfortable surrounding myself with people that are better than me at what they do. Literally, it's not, I'm not being falsely humble here. I went on a mission of, we have an 11-person leadership team, and all of the people that report to me are better at their job than I would be at theirs. Now, I strive to be the second best in the firm at every job.
So I want to circle back to that. Give me the 2 other out of the 5.
Okay. So I would say you have to know your numbers. You have to be
data-driven.
You have to be a data-driven person and
we love data.
Dexterous with large amounts of data. Absolutely.
We're united on that front.
And, and I suppose the critical thinking skills. So that's one of the things that I've found is that whether it's within our own firm or with Fireproof firms, but I'll go with our firm, is it surprised me where someone who appears really smart, very emotionally intelligent and all the things, and I see it, what the problem is looking at the data and they just can't see it. They literally can't identify it. And so
they don't look at data the way
they can't. Yeah, they look at the.
It's
but
so
they can't
hard
see the
when
story.
we love data, right? Yeah. We are. I think I coined you the godfather.
You did.
Of legal
That's right.
data.
Yes, you did.
And data is a passion of mine because I think that data tells a story that you can be emotional and you can think it's X and it's really Y, but the data doesn't lie.
Right.
So it's so reliable to go to the data.
Yep.
And if you ask the right questions, the data will give you the story.
Right.
And sometimes the story is counterintuitive to what you thought.
Yes.
But you have to be open to it being whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I do find that some people can't see those patterns. And when you see it, it's like unimaginable to me that other people can't see it.
Yes. I had to talk to Kate about it. It's Kate, my daughter, who she's managing director of our Fireproof coaching program. And one of the things that she said to me early on was she was getting frustrated. And she's like, why don't these law firm owners see it? And I'd say, sweetheart, remember, you're John and Melissa Nachazel's child. The numbers are just going to come to you and it's just going to happen. But
I think you have to be curious.
Yes.
So when I see a piece of data that doesn't, I'm saying, what is the story here? And then I'm saying, okay, something looks off here.
Mhm.
And then you have to go in and dig down to the next level of why is this off?
Yeah.
If you are not curious,
Yeah.
you're looking in a void.
So I love where you went with that. So you have to be curious, and then you have to be disciplined. You have to go an inch deep and a mile wide. So you're looking for the bomb.
Just like looking at a budget.
Yes. And then you go down into the issue, but then you actually come back up and get back up to 30,000 feet, and you're looking for other things and go down and come back. You have to be able to go deep and then come back up and go wide. And some people
Yes.
can't do that. They go down the rabbit hole,
Then
and then
they're
they're over
stuck
here
over
and then
here.
over here and over here. And what are you doing?
So just as an example, let's just go into an example of
Sure.
data.
Mhm.
So we were looking at our intake agents.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of firms, want to understand how productive their intake agents are,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So our intake agents are converting or they're
Mhm.
not converting, right?
Yes.
So the data is, let's just measure who's converting,
Yes.
who's not. That's very basic level of data. Well, then the data comes out that you've got 10 people, 5 of them are converting and 5 aren't.
Mhm.
If you're a data-driven person,
Yes.
your next question is,
How much is it costing me? So I want to back up and say, I'm going to accuse you of starting at a level 2 person, somebody that actually is curious about the agents performing differently. And we have worked with firms who just assume that
they're all the same.
Yeah, I
Oh,
trained the person, and
You're right. I've already gone to level
Yeah.
2 because I know they're
Mhm.
not all performing
right.
the same.
But most people, when the first time before they've ever worked with data, is I've trained them, and the numbers just are what they are, and that it's just a random luck that this person got all the bad calls.
No.
And exactly. So that's leap one. And then once you get to that, then what I try to do is turn it into money, and I try to make it exciting. And so one of the things I did was I took Kyle Bergquist, our very brilliant manager of data, and put him in charge of intake, specifically because of his ability to critically think and to be able to see things. I'm not trying to get him to inject his personality and his natural sales ability into the process. I'm trying to get his thinking so that we know what needs to be done. And he's able to see it. And I pulled him into a meeting one time, and I said, so what do you see? Because I saw it and the rest of the team didn't. And he goes, well, this person is costing us a ton of money. And so then I started looking at it, or I did the math, simple math with them. And I don't know why I said our average fee is over $40,000. And this person, if they were mediocre, not great, but if they were just at the firm average and were the very representation of mediocre, then it would have generated an extra $250,000 in firm revenue. And just with very small incremental changes. So over the course of a year, it's going to be $1 million because we only looked at 90 days worth of data. I'm like, this person is going to cost us $1 million unless we act, unless we figure out what the problem is and either train the person or change it out. And that's where the data creates energy and focus for me and makes it so exciting. And I want to say something positive about data. It's not just for pointing out failures, is that every person ever that's come into our firm has shown up and wants to do a good job. Everybody does. They want to be good at what they do. And so many people, especially young people,
Yes.
allegedly, I want to know what's expected. Well, the data tells you what's expected. And so to be able to give people the gift of you're good at your job.
Clarity.
Yes, you're better than you were last quarter.
You're not all over the place.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that your mind goes straight to money. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah.
In my analysis of that, I'm thinking, okay, 5 of them are great, 5 of them are not.
Right.
My next question is, why?
Right.
Why?
Right.
And so in order to solve that math problem,
Yeah.
you have to say, well, we need more data.
Yeah.
Why? How many calls is each person handling?
Right.
How many, like if you're looking at conversion rate only on intake and one person's handling 100 calls and another person in the data set's handling 20 calls, you're not potentially comparing apples to apples, which I find that's another thing in data. People are not always comparing comparables.
Right. Yeah. And so we very intentionally, we take our best performers on auto cases and we shield them and don't have them take
in the set.
Yes. And we want them
That's
taking the
outliers.
highest volume. We want them available and rested and refreshed. And if all of a sudden a non-auto case comes through, instead of them leaping to the phone to grab it, I want anybody else to handle it because
you're talking about your intake agents who are the top closer.
Yes.
You want to be able to funnel the A cases to them.
I want them to get as many at-bats as humanly possible.
So that's the other thing we're looking at is, what if you have a top closer, but they really don't take hardly any calls? They refuse to get on the phone. That you can have that in firms I've seen before. You have some people who are wanting to take every call. They're high time on the phone. Then you have other people who kind of like lay back and let other people, take all the calls.
Well, I think that's part of where the data should be shared publicly and transparent. We'll share it with we in fact do share it with the whole team and say, this person took the most calls. This person took the least for the 17th week in a row. It would never get to 17, but
that's a relevant conversation.
Yeah.
So if you're just looking at conversion rate, you have a sliver of the story.
Right.
And where I go with a lot of this is like, I want to get down to what things can we impact? So can we make it where call time is fairer? Is there something wrong in the system that's serving calls the wrong way?
Right.
Is there a coaching opportunity? This person has a lower conversion rate because they haven't been coached up. Is this an attitude problem?
Well,
what can we impact?
For intake, for me personally, what it always goes to is once you see something in the data that says there's something concerning here and I want to look into it, cool, look into it and listen to some calls, some recorded calls.
Audit.
And it's shocking.
Yeah, there's your answer.
Yes.
We don't need to go any further.
Everything you need to know.
Yes. Actually, we were just talking downstairs about, the need for intake auditing at such a high level.
Yeah.
And if you did one thing that would change the course of your firm, if you listen to this podcast,
yes,
pull your intake calls and listen to 5 and,
if you
have a drink after that.
Yes. If you're not doing that, when you do it, it's not the end of the world, but it will shock you because what you think is happening isn't happening.
And you know what's crazy, John? I have transcriptions of our intake calls. Yeah. They really still don't tell the story. We talk a lot in intake about there's a really big difference in intake, just now that we've gotten into this topic, on the ability to influence. I think this is also true in case management and being an attorney. Influence somebody into making a decision versus customer service.
Right.
And it's like customer service is not really influencing someone to do something, like to take action and sign a contract. As the intake agent, you have to be able to take someone from point A to point Z. Yep. I see a lot of people in intake, they're order takers.
Right. I have a leadership training that I do inside the firm. And that's one of the things I say is one of the worst things I can say about you is you do everything I tell you to. Because you can't think. You're just a mindless sheep.
We always say this, a mindless sheep.
Yes. So I don't need...
No. You actually, you test people.
Yes.
Secretly. You know what's so crazy, John? You're very strategic.
Yes.
This mind is a machine, and you do things so unsuspectingly that people don't know you're really running a game on them.
Yes.
So tell everyone about this thing that you do to evaluate people in the organization.
Just in general evaluation?
How
or
you find out whether you're a sheep?
That I mean, that's just case by case. So I don't have a specific method to find out. I'll try to see if they can think it through for themselves. But one of the things that I wanted to say was, gosh, I'm blanking on it now.
You're basically trying to figure out, is someone a sheep or a thinker?
Yeah.
And you're giving them tasks like, hey,
Yes.
can you do this for me?
Yes.
And you're just basically observing them.
Yes. And telling them the end result that I want.
And then you're like,
can they figure it out, or are they going to come back and
the
they're
funniest
just
thing
deer in the headlights?
You said was like, yeah, once I put you in which bucket, I never come back to it.
Right.
Like, I'll never ask you to do a thinking thing if I realize you're not a thinker.
Right.
Which is radical acceptance of who people are.
Yes. But that's what we try to do is I'll say this, that one of the things that I think we've done exceptionally well is, if to be a pod leader at our firm, you have to do 8 things. And we have a particular person I'm thinking of. And instead of throwing him out of the firm and saying, you're horrible at these 6 things, instead I went to him and said, you're not only good at one thing, you're good at 2 things. And we're going to have you do those 2 things all the time. The rest of the time that you're here, it'll fill you with energy. You'll feel confident that you're providing value and doing something that you enjoy and you know you're good at. And we're going to just hide you from the things that you're never going to be successful at.
That's actually one of your greatest strengths, is your ability to identify what people are good at and what lights them up, and to not ask people to be something they're not.
Yes.
Why do you think, I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
We got to really drill down, because why do you think so many people, this comes to coaching, this comes to managing people, they want to make a duck an eagle.
Yeah.
Or they want to make an eagle a duck.
Right.
This is like, you're a subject matter expert on this.
So I would say that a lot of it comes from, well, back when I was a young attorney, I, hiked to work and back 5 miles a day in the snow, and I had 250 cases, and I did this. And since I had to do it, that's the way to do it. Well, no, you were a unique person, and uniquely, you had gifts in certain areas and not in certain areas. And so I think what I do is I don't look at how would I do it, and I'm not a self-focused person. I'm more about, what are they capable of contributing, and what are they able to offer? And for whatever reason, and I'm going to modify my earlier answer on what are the 5 things. I don't even know if I have a name for it, but it's a leader a COO needs to find the joy in having others
succeed.
More than self. So it's not about me. And I learned this when I coached basketball for 22 years. And I got so much more joy from watching the kids do something and feeling successful and feeling strong and confident and experiencing joy. That was so much better than anything that I could do.
That is a personality trait and sentiment, and great COOs thrive on developing people. My other question I want to circle back to, that you kind of alluded to, was you were talking about, your ability to assess people's like talents or things. Do you believe, people can grow and change, but like a lot of people want to change people that they're not ready to change themselves.
Right. And so I'm more accepting of figuring out what they can do and then focusing my effort and energy on exploiting their strengths, instead of, I don't spend times with my direct reports saying, this is your weakness and this is what you need to get better at. Instead, I say, what are your strengths and how
double down on those?
Exactly.
So what do you say to the people that are like, but I need them to be able to be good at this?
not everybody's going to. So what I do is I try to build the puzzle, and each piece is shaped very differently. And so I try to be for each one of my people whatever they need. I meet them where they are.
You're meeting people where you are. You're adapting
Yes.
to them.
I'm not saying this is how I do things. And so you, world, please adjust to me. It's crazy.
And with all the coaching you've done,
Yeah.
we still see that.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people still struggle with this.
Mhm.
What's your piece of advice for somebody in this situation right now?
Yeah. I guess it is,
This must come from fear. Okay.
Mm.
Fear is, I need to get this person
Mhm.
to do all these things.
Mhm.
Maybe it's a small firm. Maybe they need someone to do jack of all trades.
Right. Right. So I would say this, that understand that every person is going to be great at something and struggle in other areas. So I'll talk about a change that we made with our litigation managing attorney. So we used to have one, Mark Mendelson, and now we have three. We added Eric and Robert. And so we gave Eric most of our best cases, most of our highest performing attorneys. We gave Mark the independent, middle, many high performing people. And then we had Robert has the newer people, the people that are new to the firm, and he is working with them to graduate them over to Mark. And so my point in telling that is that Eric, there's three different things. It's managing, training new people, and working up great cases and maximizing value. Each managing attorney is better at one of those than the other two.
Agreed.
And so then you just have to be aware of it. And when you grow to a size where you have that luxury, then you can say, Robert, you're the most patient, nurturing trainer. We're going to let you do that all the time. If we gave Eric the responsibility for training brand new people, he would kill people.
It's not his natural strength.
Right.
But this kind of goes to a concept that we talk about a lot when I was in Fireproof. Like, there's people that say, oh, John, why do you want to run such a big firm? It must be so much harder to run a big firm.
Well, and I tell them about the story about Jenn Gore, and she told me about the awkward teenage years, and she hated it. And she's like, when can I hurry up and get to 30 or 40 people? Because that's going to be so much easier when I have people that aren't generalists and that they're kind of good at lots of things. And instead I can have people that are awesome at everything. And so that's truly what my answer would be.
I think you're able to get more niche, like what you just described. You can't do when the firm is extremely small.
Right. And so, and for me, when I started with Michael, I was employee 28. I was our CFO. I was our head of HR, head of IT, facilities management, head of marketing. And now we have people in place that are better than me at every single one of those jobs. And so I did the best that I could.
We talked about that earlier in the podcast. And this is the question that I did not ask.
Yeah.
There's people that are listening right now that say, it scares me. I don't know how to manage people that are, smarter at a subject than me. That's a limiting mindset that we see.
Yeah.
How do you approach managing people that have knowledge, subject matter expert, anything more than you in a way that you can still hold them accountable and they can't kind of trick you?
I focus on the results. What are the results that I need them to accomplish, and get really clear on what needs to be achieved, and then make sure they understand it. I'll think of Trudy, our head of marketing. And so I was our head of marketing, and Trudy was a salesperson who was selling to me, 11, 12 years.
Let's just go, let's stop there for a second.
Yeah.
You, at one point, were the head of all these departments.
Oh, yes.
So let's just say that you had a minimum competency.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So you did the role to a level.
Yeah.
Now, you did not do litigation.
Correct. Not a lawyer.
But there was a point when you were managing some of the attorneys.
I still do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So That's kind of a better one to describe because you really never were doing litigation.
Correct. I never did litigation. Right.
How do you manage people that are doing things you've never done?
Yeah. So it's people are people. So I managed sales teams. I spent 20 years in the auto industry. And so since I didn't know any better, I treated attorneys as if they were salespeople in the
For
early
better
days.
or for worse.
And they are.
Yeah.
And what
well, everything in life's a sale.
Everything. An attorney is selling to a client, to a defense counsel, to a jury, to a judge, they're always selling somebody something. And so I had experience with that. And so I was drawing on that experience and being a sounding board. And I would say this, that it's cheating. I listen because I don't know the law and can't tell them what to do. I tended, especially in the early days, to shut up. And if you shut up and they tell you their pain, you can help them just by being a good listener and a sounding board, whether it's, coming up with data to help them, or whether it's just so much of it is managing people. And lawyers didn't go to law school and learn how to manage people. And I had managed large teams in the past. And
so you got somebody you're managing. It's an attorney. They're supposed to get X result.
Yeah.
Revenue in the door.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
They're not doing it.
Yeah.
They're at half their goal.
Yeah.
You're going to go to them and say,
yeah. Well, I would go to them. It would always be with the managing attorney. The managing attorney would usually come to me and I would point out to the managing attorney, you've got a problem right here. The data says this is a concern. He's like, oh, gosh, you're right. And then they would go audit the files. So I would help at a high level directionally and say, it looks like a problem. You tell me if it actually is. Yeah. I'm saying looks like pain. Go investigate, please. But I don't tell them, step by step how to solve it. I find that especially with data and with listening, but especially with data, it's if I don't have to have the answer, I have to show them what the problem actually is. They tell me if they see a problem, or I tell them. But if they come to me and say, here's my problem, I'll look at the data and say, actually, this is your problem. And this is the size and shape of it.
Problem.
Yes. And so then it's here's your problem. It's my intake person is terrible because they only signed up 10 cases over X period of time. Well, no, their conversion rate's exceptional. Your problem is marketing isn't giving enough leads. So I think that's one of the things that I can do is help them actually understand what the problem is. And as soon as they understand the problem, I can't propose a solution because they're already talking over me to tell me what the answer is.
It's so true. Like, especially the problem you just brought up is that lawyers are always more willing to do more marketing, but do you have an intake problem or do you have a marketing problem? Right. But for some reason, no one ever wants to get into intake and get under the hood. They just want more marketing. Right.
No, that's a common problem. But yeah, I think a lot of it, and I'll share this, is one of the things I do. I have a forum I use with my direct reports. I meet with them one-on-one in addition to our team meetings. And I'll meet with them not less than every 2 weeks. Newer ones, I'll meet with them every week. But I'll set aside a half hour and we'll go through 3 things. One is any recent wins that they've had. So these are some recent successes and they'll type that out. And then the next one is, here's what I'm thinking about. Here's what's on my mind.
That's a good.
And then the third one is, what do I want to make the most progress on today? And what I find is that process alone helps them get clear on what their challenges are and that we're well down the path of solving it just because they spent some quiet time instead of them walking in. I say, what's up? Well, I don't know.
It's wasting time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's more focus.
Yes.
Productivity. So you guys have been doing Fireproof now for 5 years.
Shocking.
I feel I'm a Fireproof alumni.
You are.
I'm a success story from Fireproof.
You are.
And I
the
am very
shining
grateful for you guys.
We're
And
very grateful for you.
you guys were there for me. I think running a firm, there's periods of time when you go through like highs and lows and you have to solve major problems on a dime. And I always knew I could call you. I have called you.
Yes.
Like, John, what do I do in this situation? And I've always gotten sound advice.
Thank you.
And you guys are truly friends. And I know I've referred a lot of people to you guys. I stand behind what the proposition of Fireproof is, which I think you're helping a lot of people. What would you say the revenue range of people that are in Fireproof? I know you have people at both ends, but
Yeah. I would say that really you need to be doing before, although that's not fair anymore because now we have a lower
like
end
a starting
offering.
program.
Yeah, we didn't used to, but now we do have that. So I would have always said before, you need 2 to 3 million in fees. You need to be generating some revenue and starting to hit some walls and struggling.
The first day you show up and you build your leadership team, you got to have someone working there to help.
Right. So, but now we do, I think we have a lower offering that's more self-implementation. We give a lot of resources to allow it. People are still able to come to our Fireproof summits and participate in the community calls. And, there's still some touches and we're able to happily reach out and help anybody anytime. That's just the way we're wired at our core. But I would say our bread and butter is 2 to 3 million in fees on the low end. And then we have, I would say up to 40. I was going to say 30, but there's
30, 40 million.
Yeah.
Looking back, your brain is a computer.
Yeah.
When you first started doing this, you didn't know what the heck, why people didn't just do what you guys were doing.
Yes.
Now you've been doing this for 5 years.
Yeah.
What is the patterns and trends that you can say, like, people kind of struggle with the same things?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the biggest shifts, whether it counts as mind shift or mindset or anything else, is intentionality. That I feel like when we meet a lot of firms that life is happening to them, the cases are happening completely, and they're not choosing a destination and then simply saying reverse engineer, what do we need to do in order to achieve
Correct.
that?
That is so true. It does feel radical to say, I'm going to be at $10 million when you're at 2 million. It seems like it's a long way away, but it really isn't. In 2 years, you're halfway there.
It's shocking. So for us recently, we were very content. We were at 50 million a year and happy until Michael wasn't happy and he went to a mastermind and someone challenged him and said, you're being too complacent and you need to push harder and you need to double your firm. So Michael and I agreed to double it over a 5-year period. This is now year 3 and we're going to double it this year.
Do your little.
Yes.
You're ahead of the schedule.
We are ahead of schedule. And it's just a choice. And it just comes down to, my forecasting, and it's the average case value and the timing of when the money will come in. And
oh my God, when I learned that, it changed my entire life.
Yeah.
You sat with my CFO and built out the mathematical formula.
Yeah.
And we were able to, and this was something that had been driving me crazy for years, is how can you not forecast revenue in a business? And you can.
You can. Absolutely you can. And so then it just comes down to, I don't really care, Michael. What do you want? Do you want 50 million? Do you want 100 million?
Tell me, where are we driving the ship?
Yeah. You let me know, and then I'll tell you what we'll have to do. So we know that the cost per case is X. So I'm going to need this much money in marketing in order to have cases signed up ready for harvest.
This period.
Yes.
It's really not that hard.
It's just not.
But the execution is harder than you would think.
So at first it's money. Do I have the money to get the cases and hire the people? So once you have the money, then it comes down to your ability to hire, train, and retain staff. And so we've been blessed with whatever money we needed access to. And so it really came down to how fast. Yeah. And so truly it is, Michael's personal wealth is limited by our ability to hire, train, and retain people to work on the cases, because we can get the cases. That's not a problem. But you need good, competent people using scalable, consistent processes in order to.
So first pattern you see is reactivity.
Yeah.
People are not reverse engineering their future.
Yes.
Second pattern.
Second is they are a control freak.
I've let go of that.
That was not directed at you.
No,
That's
I
a self-confession,
truly, I love your face on this, because I say this all the time.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest evolution for me, and I think for a lot of people that own law firms, is the ability to let go of some of the control.
For sure.
And to learn to delegate. And I always say, like, especially this is true for women, women stay very small in business because they have that superwoman complex. Like, I do it all and I get my self-worth through being a rescuer and doing it all. That's a way to stay very small.
Yeah. And I guess for me, one of the breakthroughs we had was, I don't even know how long we were into it, year and a half or two, maybe 3 years. But the breakthrough Michael and I had was, please stop telling me how to accomplish it, because
You tell that story.
Yeah, I don't have your tool set. I just don't have it. You hired me because I'm
Say more about that.
Yeah. So when he hired me, he actively sought out his polar opposite. He searched for the person that loved doing the things that he hated doing and was good at the things that he was bad at and was terrible at the things that he was good at.
And he found you.
And he found me. So we look at the world through a completely different lens. And then he would say, I want you to accomplish X task, and here's how.
And he would do it by these things.
He's got charisma. He's got the personality. Yes, I've got
You're not going to do it through that.
Discipline.
That's not your...
and logic. And I'm like, if you ask me to go be a stand-up comedian, I'm a disaster. So that's not in my skill set. I don't have great hair. He has amazing hair. And so that's fine. So I'm not going to use that. So
you're not going to get things done with your good hair.
Not going to get done with my hair. Now you could get things done with your hair, Jen, but I could not. I think that was an important thing for us because he let go.
But you're talking about letting go of the method of the way the task is. You're so results oriented, like however you get it done.
Yes.
If you get it done.
Yes.
I give you a lot of leeway.
Right. And so I believe in autonomy. I think it's one of the things that motivates people and giving them control over their world. It drives their engagement if they feel like they can control it. Otherwise, if you talk down to someone and tell them this is what you should do, every time you tell them how to do something, you're turning their brain up and saying, oh, I'm just a mindless sheep. I'm just a robot. I'm here to await instructions. And those aren't inspiring people to be around.
Yeah, and they're not going to create the results we want. Okay, number 3, any other trends and patterns your data mine has mined?
I would say if I'm really trying to talk to law firm owners, that's what
they're reactive.
All right,
they're controlling,
and they just aren't.
They're not data driven.
They're not data driven, and I just want to say a business mind. It's respect the role of business. Respect
that this is a business, not just a law firm.
Right. So one of our chapters, I didn't even intend to take it here, but I will. It's our last chapter. Run your law firm like it was your biggest case, because what's your biggest case? And the history of the firm, it comes through and you're so excited and you come up with an attack plan. But what's more important than the biggest case in the history of the firm? Your firm. The business of your firm is actually super important. It's not, I'm exhausted and I don't like meeting with clients and I never want to go to a court again, so I'm going to take the easy road and I'll just be a business person. That's such a disrespect to the profession of business, and it's silly. And instead, it's people that have a genuine appreciation for business. And one of the things that I like about you, and I think it's on your LinkedIn,
I'm a business person.
Right. You're a business person.
Yeah, I don't think you should hang a shingle or open a law firm unless you are a business person at heart, or you have to become one, which I'm not sure you can become one. I really think this is either something that jazzes you up or it doesn't. Right. And if you're really, truly a true lawyer, you should go work at the best firm in America and be a lawyer, because we know that the reason why people are disbarred is typically not due to a legal matter. It's due to a business matter. You know, your system was so bad, it didn't tell you that you were supposed to file you missed the statute because your reminders aren't good, or you mismanaged the money. Most of it is business-related fumbles. Right. Not because, it's the practice of law. There's a lot of leeway into different strategies you can try. Right. But if you make major business errors, which show in the audit that you didn't have proper systems or thoughtful procedures to protect client money, that's disbarable. Yes. And so if you care as a lawyer who owns a firm, I think you have to have the respect, like you're talking about, for the business of law. Right. And it's like this ongoing debate in our industry of like, are you an operator, or are you a litigator or a lawyer? And they both are important. Yes. There's not like one or the other. Right. I'm
and trying to build on it, but I think you nailed it.
Yeah. But I learned, a lot of that from you guys because you approach it in such a systematic way. And for people that have business minds that are lawyers, I think when they see your teachings, it immediately connects.
Yes. Yes.
It's like, this is what I've been looking for.
Yeah. I encourage everybody, of course, should read the book. If you read the book, it'll either transform you. I don't mean for that to sound arrogant, but it just speaks to you and you're like, oh, there's
light bulb.
Yeah, exactly. It's either a light bulb or you're just never going to get it. Correct. Yeah.
As we wrap up, what would you like the legacy of John Nachazel to be?
Wow. I have never.
People are going to look back.
Yeah.
Someone's listening to this in 2080.
Yeah. So I guess what I would say, it was someone who served others and made others better and carried it out with a lot of integrity and respect. I'd be content if that was able to be said about me.
I think a lot of people would say that about you. You're on the path. You're reverse engineering it.
Right.
Anything new and exciting? I know you guys are doing a conference. Instead of just coaching, you've expanded to the conference circuit.
It's bigger and better than ever. So we have twice a year summits for our coaching clients, and those are always great. But we are, in addition to our Fireproof Summit in Detroit, we're also having a Fireproof Conference, which is our first event ever for non-members of Fireproof. So if you're not,
the offerings you guys have now, I wish you had them 5 years ago.
Yes. And we'll be teaching a lot of giving people a taste for what Fireproof is and try to give some of our greatest hits. We'll also be bringing in some truly extraordinary outside speakers. So
one thing I can say 100%, and I will hang my hat on this. Again, I've been in a lot of coaching programs. I love the fact that I think you guys are constantly iterating. Yes. So what you guys are teaching, there's the greatest hits.
Yeah.
There's the fundamentals.
Right.
But what I can always expect, and I will always be like, hey, I'm challenging you guys. I need more content over here. You guys are going to drop new stuff.
Yes.
So just because you were doing something here, it's not, nobody wants to go to the same show over and over again.
Right. Yeah. We it's just the way we are. We had at our first quarter, our quarterly meeting with Gino, it was funny because the general recap was that it was undeniably our greatest quarter financially and numbers wise in the history of the firm. So what did we decide to change? Everything. We changed people, process, and technology. So we decided we wanted.
You didn't just lay back?
No, we didn't lay back and just rest. And instead, we used it as a chance to literally upend our firm. And we're going to use new technology moving forward. We had to redesign all of our processes in order to prepare for the technology. And then we changed our leader of our people. So we brought in a new head of HR. We brought in a new way of how are we recruiting people, how we structure them. We're much more centralized right now with our tasks, and we have many more specialist roles in a much more assembly line approach. So we changed literally all people, process, and technology.
Well, and it's what we have to do in 2025.
Yes.
Adopt or die.
Well, and AI is going to bring in a whole new era. It's going to pull out all the costs, a lot of the costs out of the.
So you're excited about AI?
You have to be. I mean, you have to be. It's going to.
It's here.
It's here, and it's going to transform us more than anything that I've seen in my 17 years in law.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
It's gonna change it, and then what's gonna happen is right now everybody's biggest expense, every law firm
labor
is labor, and so now labor is gonna shrink, and so then all of a sudden the profitability is going to be amazing, and so what are people going to do? They're going to plow more money into marketing. So marketing it's
going to become more competitive.
It is,
and if you do not adopt, you're be
done,
out of business.
Yeah, oh for sure.
This was an amazing conversation.
We've never had an unamazing conversation.
You truly are a gem in our industry.
Thank you.
And I am just really happy that we can have these invigorating conversations. I hope that everybody here today enjoyed John on the podcast. And hopefully I will see you soon at another event. And I look forward to maybe a Fireproof book 2.0.
That's good.
In the works.
That. Stand by for news.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead, subscribe, like, and comment, and we will see you on the next one.